3 reasons why you should not take on this client. This episode of the Godly Business Podcast is brought to you by Better Sales Women, where entrepreneurs learn to master the sales conversation and 3x their income. To learn more, visit bettersaleswomen.com. Welcome to the Godly Business Podcast. I am your host, Anne Jean-Pierre. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about 3 reasons why you should not take on some client. Now, the focus of sales and growth in your business is to take on as many clients as possible. I'm aware of that. You're aware of that. However, if you have been in business for any length of time, there are certain clients that you realized it was not worth the money. So today I'm going to go over 3 reasons and 3 signs that you may need to look at before you sign on this client. I almost say this Karen because one of the things we're going to talk about is the Karen type of client. So without further ado, we're going to talk about it first. So the first type of client you may not want to get is the forced yes. The person that you felt like in the sales conversation, they didn't really want to say yes. It's almost like they felt like they had to say yes to your product or service. And because of that, a couple things will happen with that type of client. One, they're most likely not going to commit to whatever it is that you are giving them. And the service industry, such as myself, like if you're a coach or a consultant, what you will find is that now you almost have to babysit this person, right? You'll have to keep asking them to do their part of the contract. You almost have to chase them to do what it is that they need to do. In the product in the product side, they're the one that most likely will buy something and then return it, right? Because they were not 100% sure about it. So they buy it. And then after that, they're like, I don't know. Buyer's remorse kicks in. And then they want to return it because their yes wasn't a true yes, right? So that person becomes more of a long drag for you especially in the consulting, coaching, even personal training world, those type of interaction where the person has to actually show up and do their part in the relationship of the service that you're involving with. They will not be committed to the process. And that in turn make it hard for you to do your job, which oftentimes results in a not so great experience either for you nor for your client. And this is where sometimes you will get the bad reviews, bad recommendation. The person will just say they didn't have a great experience with you. They didn't like the process and everything like that. Every reason they're giving you is because they were not committed in the first place. Their heart wasn't in it. Their yes wasn't a true yes. It was more so it's something that I probably should do, so I'm going to do it. And it's begrudging. It's not something that they're really passionate about. These are the type of clients that you definitely do not want to sign up with. You don't want to work with. Even if they say yes, you can sense it's not the best thing. Trust me, the money's not worth it. Just refer them somewhere else or let them know it seems like right now may not be the best time for you. And I totally understand and respect that. Whenever you're ready, let me know. This is something you could say to kind of like let them go. And sometimes it's not that the client is a bad person, right? It's not that they're flaky or anything like that. It's just right now may not be the best time. Um, I've talked about this before, I don't think in the podcast though, but where sometimes the person is like not ready to commit. They call you just to kind of get information and to kind of like fill it out to see if this is something they want to pursue, right? And calls and those consultation calls, you kind of have to, this is why you have to pay close attention to know if this person is just fishing in quotation for information, right? Or if they're actually ready to make the jump. And it's okay if, sometimes if the person has to fish around, because they're trying to get an idea like, okay, if this is this something I really need? Is it something I really want? Is it something I'm ready to commit right now? And they're just getting the consultation to get the information. Side note, you also want to avoid the people that are just getting information but never wanting to commit with you. They kind of like get an idea for their own business, or they're kind of getting an idea but they never wanting to commit. So you don't want to spend too much time um, on them for that. So we'll talk about that in another episode on how to kind of like avoid those time wasters. Um, so yeah, so that is the first one. The person that is not ready to commit, the yes, that's a not a true yes, and they just not going to be a pleasant experience for you or for them. This is where you get bad reviews. And if the person seems like too hesitant, like you almost like have to force them, which you should never do, ever, ever. But if it just feels like too heavy, too like you dragging them to make that decision, do not pursue it. It is not going to be worth it on the long run. So this is the first sign, right, that you should avoid. The second sign is the price conscious client. Oh my. So listen, your price is your price. That is something that I keep harping on. And if you've listened to any of my other episodes, you hear me talk about this all the time because I see this all the time. Like, it is um, it is sad and annoying to me as a sales coach and consultant, because your price is your price. Do not adjust your price to make someone else see the value in your product or service. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, but the price conscious client, is hard for them to accept and see the value of your product. If they start off seeing that the price is too much, then they don't see the value of your product. And you will find very similar attitude toward your service or product, similarly to the first one, except the price conscious client will complain a lot. Not the same as the Karen, which we will talk about in a little bit, but what you will find is the price conscious client will feel like they deserve way more than the service that you're offering them. They will feel like they may even argue about some of the services that they think they should have, that they should receive. Hence why I say have a very detailed contract before you sign on certain clients. um, they will have questions, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Asking very detailed questions just to make sure they understand what product or service that they're receiving. They may start asking for special favors. Oh, I'm already paying for all of this anyways. Why can't you just, those type of attitude. They will ask for um, you know, more service. They will see that they will not value the product that you will get. Again, those same type of clients are the ones that when you are working with them, they sometimes you will get a lack of respect from them, because these are the attitudes sometimes. And again, not everybody does this, but this is the type that sometimes will do this, where they would look at it as, um, you need to do this for me because I'm paying you XYZ, right? So because in their mind they feel like they're paying so much more than the service is worth, therefore you as the consultant or coach, should be bending over backwards for them, because you know they're paying such a high price. This is also an attitude that you will find in the Karens. So that person will definitely make your life very miserable. This is the type of person you will probably get um, calls from about every line item, um, invoice that you send them. Depending on the type of business that you're in, marketing or things like that. They will send you questions about every line item. Why is this? Is this really that much? I see also this with interior designers sometimes. You know, marketers, same thing, right? Every line item they have to question, they have to ask about, like, why is this, that, blah, blah. Those type of clients are not worth it. It's going to make your life harder. It's going to suck the joy out of what you do, especially if you love what you do. It's going to suck the joy out of it, and it's honestly not worth the back and forth with them. So for those type of clients where they're so price conscious, do not sign them on. Refer them out, and let them know, hey, it seems like you don't see the value in this product and or service, and I completely um, could kind of see where you're coming from, but unfortunately, this doesn't seem like it's going to be a right fit for you, right? Um, and then that's it. Sometimes they will say, no, no, I think this is blah blah, but trust your gut feeling. I've had this conversation with my sister before, multiple times, with clients that she was kind of hesitant about signing up, and I'm like, don't do it, sis, don't do it. And she did, and she was like, man, and you had to fire the client. And yes, you can fire a client, and hopefully you get to the point where you have that liberty enough where you're not so hung up on, oh my gosh, I need a client, that you're afraid to fire a client. Yes. So I pray that that will happen for you, where you're like, hey, this relationship is not working. Bye. Um, the third and last is the Karen. Oh my gosh. Yes, I call that type of client the Karen, because anything that you could think of a Karen would do, this client will do. So pretty much everything we kind of talked about in the first couple two, and then some, right? The Karens, you can kind of tell right away. Um, so this should not be like, oh, you didn't know, because most likely in your consultation, if you do it right, you will kind of like determine that they are Karens, right? So the Karen personality, when you are signing them up, they are also very detailed, sometimes, right? Which is okay. Again, you do want a client who wants to understand fully what they are getting themselves into, in order for them to, that there's no questions asked, right? And there's no coming after that. Um, they will also do the line item thing, like, well, why is it so much, like such and such didn't charge me as much. Let me tell you something. The moment someone tells me this is me personally, this, I'm not saying you have to do this, right? But for me, when someone tells me this, the two things you can say, and this is something I recommend. Again, you don't have to do it, but this is what I do because of my self personality. One is to understand that I don't know what such and such ABC company offers. So therefore my prices cannot be based. I can compare my prices. I don't know what they offer. Right. So that's one thing. And two, truthfully, depending on how they say it and the attitude in which they say it with, right? I would straight up tell them, well, it sounds like it may be better for you to go to ABC company. Again, that's just me. Because this is me literally shutting the door at that point. Point blank, no more conversation to be had, right? But again, every personality is different, so someone could get offended at that. Me, so much, I don't really care that much. Again, depending on the attitude the person is bringing, my personality type would tell you, well, it sounds like ABC company might maybe a best fit for you, right? So there's that. They are super entitled. Um, well as the price conscious client is entitled in the fact that they feel like, the price is so high, I should be getting all of these red carpet services because in my mind, this is a high price, and therefore they feel like they're entitled. That same type of attitude you will find in the Karen. And the Karen will expect for you to roll out the red carpet and be available, especially as a coach or consultant, be available on their time, on their dime. If they tell you jump, you need to jump, all of that attitude. It is best for you and your consultation, and this is something that is standard. Again, go back and listen to my contract video podcast episode. This is why you go over what is expected of them, what they should expect of you as part of the contract, and what service you will offer and what service you will not offer. This is also what you one thing that I always recommend to all my anyone that I speak with, clients, prospect, friends. When you are having the conversation, ask them what their expectations are and clarify those expectations. Because if their expectations are for you to be, I don't know, available, um, especially depending on the type of business you have, right? Consulting is the one that I'm talking about specifically right now. Like, let's say the expectation is you will be available to them to answer questions within 48 hours, no matter what day it is. Like, no, I work Monday through Friday, right? Like, let's say that's your schedule. So, expecting me to respond to you at, on a Friday night and I don't respond to you until Monday, and then that becomes an issue because for you, you say 48 hours. Yes, people do get that petty. Yes. Um, you know what I mean? So like stuff like that, having them to clarify what your expectations are, and also ask them what the expectations are from you, just so there's no confusion. The Karens will also have the same attitude of um, some of the same attitude at the price conscious client, in that they will the Karens may see the value, but they will treat you as though you are a servant, that you are um how do I put this? Uh that you should be grateful that they chose you as the person to work with. Now, as business owners, we should be grateful for every opportunities that we get to help someone in their business, to help a customer achieve their goal. You know, because if you are really passionate about what you do, it's not just about the money, right? It is really truly about the person's success, the person getting where they want to go. And that does, at least to me and a lot of people I know, um, helping the person get to their goal is something that you hold dear to you, that you're very proud of, that you can stand on like, hey, this is something I'm proud of when I walk away, that this, I gave my all, I gave my best, and this person got the best out of me. Now, another side note, especially for coach, consultants, um, trainers, things like that, what you do is offer your best, right? Unfortunately, a lot of times you're not in charge of the results, right? You cannot give the person the results that they're looking for. At the end of the day, a lot of times, again, depending on your business, the results have to come from their effort, their application of what you walk them through, and, you know, how they show up for that consulting, that coaching session, that whatever it is that you're doing, and their application of it. So the results of it is as much on them as it is on you to make sure you're guiding them in the correct way. But their failure to apply what you tell them is not on you. And sometimes you may find yourself beating yourself up for them not getting what it is that they need to do. You have to remember where you stand, what you can do, and what they have to do. So that's a little side note. But yes, those Karens will also blame you for not getting the results, even though they are not doing their part of the bargain, right? They will find fault and everything. Everything will be your responsibility, your problem, your fault. Um, that they're not where they are, even though they didn't show up, right? They didn't show up. They didn't do what they needed to do. For example, right? Part of my um, coaching course, well, not course, but my 7-week coaching training program, I have all of my clients record their conversation, their sales conversation. And that's the best way for me to critique what you are saying. So, and for you to adjust, right? So if you don't ever record your calls, now I have to either find a way to do a three, be present when you are making a call. Well, guess what? I may not be available when you are making your calls. So if you're refusing to do what I expect of you, which is to record your sales conversation in order for us to go over it later and critique it, and you don't do that, then you don't get the result that you want, because now I'm going based of what you're telling me happened in the call versus me being able to witness what's happening in the call. You're not going to get the best result possible, right? So that is on you as the client to do what I tell you to do in order for you to get what it is that you're trying to get out of the program, right? So this is this is what I mean by those Karens will just not do what they're supposed to do and still expect your result, right? It's like you're a personal trainer, you're a personal coach, you're a dietitian, and the person still want to eat however they want, barely want to show up to training, right? They sign up for like a 3 to 6 months package, and then they're complaining that they're not getting the results on their bodies that they expect to get because at the end of the 6 months, I'm supposed to lose 30 pounds. Well, baby, you didn't do the work. You know what I mean? You ate whatever you wanted. You didn't come to your sessions. You barely wanted to work out. So, yes, at the end of the 6 months may go by, but you will not have the result that you wanted because guess what? You didn't follow through. So, this is what you will often find again with the Karens, and same thing with the not committed person, right? I guess the Karen is all of those, all three of those things that we talked about, right? They will not be committed and then be upset at you for not getting the results, and then of course then you have the bad customer review, the headache of dealing with them, and the complaints and the going back and forth. So these are the three, signs and three reasons why you may not want to sign that client. Because at the end of the day, it's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your effort. I always tell everyone this, especially coaches and consultants. You are the expert, right? For a reason. They come to you because you have the answer that they are looking for, period. So there is no reason why you have to bend over backwards in order for you to get this person to do what they need to do, right? So I look at it the same way as if you're going to a doctor, and the doctor tells you these are the things, these are the medication that you need to take in order for you to get better. Guess what? If you don't take the medication, is it the doctor's fault? No. So the same way for as the expert in your business, your job is to make the prescription, right? To write the prescription and tell them what to do, how to apply it. Their job is to take the prescription, right? So if you look at it this way, then hopefully that helps for some of the people that I know I've had conversation with and how they feel about their clients not getting the results that they want and the frustration that they have with that. And hopefully that helps you because it's not your responsibility. I know this can be harsh, especially for those of us who really love the people and we really want to help. You cannot, you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink, right? You do your part, you show up, you do what you have to do. At the end of the day, this is a partnership. This is why you have to have a service agreement. The agreement is I agree to do this, you agree to do this. And this is why um, a client expectation is needed, right? A client expectation is needed. Go over it with them before they sign up, what the expectations are, what what they need to do in order to get their act together. That is it for me today. I hope this was helpful, and that you can keep those three things in mind as to the type of people, the type of prospects, before they even become a client. So hopefully they don't become a client. The signs that you have to look out for in order for you to not get the headache clients that you do not want. Because, like I said, a yes is not always a good thing when you're talking to a prospect. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have questions, concern, would like to learn more, definitely send me a question, a voice note. You know, message me. Let me know what you would like to learn more about. Any things that you would like for me to go over and explain a little bit more. I would be more than happy to do so. I pray that God keeps you and guides you in the way that you should go, and He will instruct you in the way that you should go. Just pray and ask for that. I hope that you are successful in this new year in your business. And thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you next week. God bless.